You know what's really funny is after a game like this, there's the Tanner McKee people aren't around. I don't know what happened to them. I hope they're okay after yesterday's win. Hey, look, if you find Jalen Hurts to be the second best quarterback in the NFL, as I do, if you find certainly Jalen Hurts to be an elite quarterback, as I do, it's okay to acknowledge bumps along the way. Horrible pass in the Giants game, not having a single completion in the Buccaneers game, a terrible first half against the Rams, and then, oh, look, yeah, Jalen Hurts pretty damn good at football in the second half. You know, little things throughout the season, little bumps in the road, unfortunately, where it's not just a Jalen Hurts problem. It is an offensive line problem, as I acknowledge. That is the biggest problem the Eagles have. And even still today, after yesterday, still a big offensive line problem, and hopefully not a bigger problem down the line with whatever the MRI says with Cam Jurgens after today. It's okay to acknowledge when a quarterback who is elite is not playing at an elite level. You call that rough patches. Everybody's got them. And then a quarterback does exactly what he's supposed to do as an elite quarterback, and that's ball out and play the way that Jalen Hurts played yesterday. I loved, after the game, all the talk in the locker room, two things about Devontae Smith calling that play action pass. That was awesome. Jalen Hurts saying that he was the one championing being under center more throughout the week, including that Monday meeting that they had. And then I also loved this look, the look that Jalen Hurts gets. Devontae Smith was the first person I heard talk about it. Jalen Hurts got asked about it. Jordan Mailata, quite frankly, just got giddy in the locker room when he was asked about it. But spoiler, before I let you hear him say it himself, Devontae Smith said, when he was asked, what about this look? Where do you see this look from Jalen Hurts when things are going in the right direction? You guys are getting a feeling that things are about to go in the right direction. And one of the things he said, it's like just one of these things that you see on the sideline or in the huddle after he calls a play, he'll say something slick. So, whatever it was, play action bomb to Devontae Smith, they're not going to know what hit him, break, whatever, And then that happens. Devontae Smith said he gets this kind of feeling about Jalen Hurts. It's like, oh, we're about to cook. We're about to make things happen as an offense. And they got to do that yesterday. It was absolutely fantastic to watch that game yesterday. I got the sense, especially in the third quarter after the bomb to Smitty, that, okay, this is going to be a game where Jalen's got you. Jalen's got to play. And sure enough, 3rd and 15, bang, Jalen's got to play. 3rd and 13, bang, Jalen's got to play. And A.J. Brown's got a beautiful catch on the sideline. Jalen drops back, quick throw to A.J. Brown on the go route, touchdown. Just like that to put the icing on the cake. I had a feeling that the offense was going to have your back after that big play to Devontae Smith. But then Carson Wentz and that Minnesota Vikings offense, Carson Wentz scrambling for first downs. They punch it in the red zone, and they start to make it a little bit closer than you'd like it to be. But the defense continuously throughout the day, throughout the game, was the typical bend but don't break defense. Oh, you want a field goal? Here, a little field goal. All right. Enjoy your 3 points. We held you from getting 7. See you. It was great to see the numbers for Carson Wentz after this game, to see the passing numbers for what Carson Wentz was able to do in this game. And granted, yes, they were playing from behind, but 26 of 42, 313 yards, 0 touchdowns, 2 picks. The only touchdown pass that Carson Wentz threw was to Jalix Hunt. Haha. Okay. It's good to know that Carson Wentz is still very much Carson Wentz, the Carson Wentz that we knew here. He tried to play hero ball times, and at times it worked out, and then there was a lot of just missed passes. And the touchdown pass to TJ Hockenson that was overturned, and rightfully so. Folks, you can't use the ground to secure the football. This seemed to be very difficult for people that were not rooting for the Eagles or people that are just haters. You can't use the ground to secure the football, and that is the definition of using the ground to secure the football. You can't go down with the ball in your hands, hit off the ground in the motion of the catch, and then corral it. That's the same exact thing as, let me just take the ball after I can, throw it on the ground, and then pick it back up. Oh, I guess that's a catch. No, that's not a catch. So I thought that was an easy call for the officials. I don't know what some people were talking about, but certainly, TJ Hockenson certainly used the ground to control the catch. But either way, the Eagles held steady in the red zone throughout the day. And seeing Carson Wentz in those drives come up empty. Jordan Addison comes up to 128 yards in total in the game on 9 catches. Justin Jefferson held under 80 yards in this game. Nice. 10 targets, only 5 catches, 50%. That's not so great. So the Eagles did a great job on him. And also, man, Carson was just missing guys left and right. And, look, if anyone who's a competitor, I don't care, you can be the best guy in the world. You walk across that field and you shake the hand of the guy that got you benched and stayed bench. You want to shake that hand knowing that you were the winner. Nope. Just like that quarterback battle, Jalen Hurts was victorious today. By far, my favorite thing about this game, other than the obvious of how Jalen Hurts balled out and the defense bending but not breaking, Jalen Carter. Oh, Jalen Carter giving Carson Wentz the flying shoulder, essentially, into the sternum for Jalen Hunt to pick off that ball. That was great. But the communication for me in this game was awesome. You literally hear after the game from Devontae Smith say that everyone's on the same page and we're flying. Like, that's how it felt to play in this game. Communication was the key to success yesterday. Couple examples. Even before the game, you have the players meeting, or you have the meeting, and everyone gets on the same page as an offense, what they need to do. You'll hear from Jalen Hurts saying that he even championed the cause again for being under center a little bit more like you saw in this game. So there's communication there. You have Jalen Hurts in the game for the first touchdown. Gets outside the pocket a little bit, somewhat of a broken play, signals for A.J. Brown to just run the go ball down the sideline. A little of that, calling the shot. A.J. takes off, touchdown. Communication. The second touchdown from A.J. Brown, you see that little flick out there, little flick of the wrists from Jalen Hurts signaling out to A.J. Brown. What do you got? You got a touchdown. Communication. Halftime, Devontae Smith walks into the locker room and says, fellas, gentlemen, gather around. You want a deep ball? You want a deep ball? You want a shot? You want a shot down the field? I got just the play. I know it'll work. They're going to go for it. You just see. They dial up the play. Smitty, Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, all acknowledged Kevin Patullo's role in this, saying, yeah, we should run that play. And they call the play. You want to talk about deceptiveness. So first off, just wrap up communication. All that is guys talking to each other and guys getting on the same page. And, oh, look, success happened. I talk about it all the time. Communication, the key to success in any relationship. No matter where it is, no matter what it is. Communication. The Eagles did that to perfection in this game. I hate the term, by the way, perfect game. I know it's a 158 passer rating. It's a perfect game. I hate that term, but good. Hey, not going to fight against it. Good job by the Eagles. Good job by Jalen Hurts. But communication happened, and they won this football game in the manner in which they did. The other thing that I love so much was how every time you had a back against the wall situation, like the 2 third downs I mentioned, you converted. You found a way to get first downs. They always talk about, and Jalen Hurts said it again after this game, you find ways to win. Well, they also found ways to convert on third down. They were 0 for 5 in the first half on third down. The first third down that they converted was it was a 3rd and 15. Damn. Then they converted another 3rd and long, a 3rd and 13 for their second third down conversion of the game. All right. Start cooking, boys. This was such a great – this game felt like a warm hug that a lot of people needed when it came to the Eagles. I didn't pick them to win. I thought they were going to lose this game. I didn't think that Jalen Hurts was going to be ass or anything like that. I didn't think that Tanner McKee needed to start the game or anything like that. I didn't like what you'd been seeing from a pass rush. I didn't like what you had been seeing. Obviously, now Brandon Graham is likely returning to play for the Eagles. I'll go ahead and say that. Likely returning for the Philadelphia Eagles. I know Adam Schefter's report yesterday was that he's strongly considering it. I'm going to go ahead and upgrade that. Sorry, Shefty. He's going to be playing for the Eagles again this season. That's just what's going to happen. That story isn't coming out without a whole lot of momentum behind it. Like, Brandon Graham isn't just sitting in his living room right now being like, should I come back or should I not? I'm strongly considering coming back. No, like, I wouldn't be surprised the conversation's already happened with Howie, with Vic, with anybody else. As far as I'm concerned, he's going to be in uniform. I don't know if it's going to take till after the bye week. I don't know. But, I mean, I had Brandon Graham on the show a couple months ago. He seemed like he wasn't, eating his way through retirement. He looked like he was in pretty damn good shape. So that's going to be a big spark. But going up against a quarterback like Carson Wentz, similar to a quarterback like Bo Nix, similar to a quarterback like Baker Mayfield, similar to a quarterback like Jackson Dart. What a way they lost the game yesterday, by the way, the Giants. You're going to have to contain a quarterback that can buy time behind the line of scrimmage. And there were plenty of times where Carson Wentz did that. And then, oh, look, hero ball. He scrambles outside the pocket. He tries to buy time. Oh, is Drew Makuba not on my team? I don't know. Throw the football, interception. Hello, Carson. Good to see you. Just like old times. So watching all that unfold yesterday, it was like, okay, all right, well, he's more likely to make a mistake, even more so in my mind than the rookie Jackson Dart, and he did yesterday. But the pass rush I thought was going to struggle yesterday against Carson Wentz. They did okay for the most part throughout the game. I know I mentioned the two scrambles on third down. I believe they both were with Carson Wentz where he got the first down. It's not great. But you're going to be getting help with Brandon Graham coming back. You're going to be getting help sooner rather than later when it comes to Nolan Smith coming back as well from injury. But I didn't like the pass rush in this game. The other thing I didn't like was that going into this game, the Minnesota Vikings blitz 37.7% of the time. 37.7% of the time, they blitz. That's a high rate. I didn't like the offensive line against that. I also didn't like Jalen Hurts right now against that. Because one of the things that really jumped out to me in the Giants game is there were opportunities for Jalen Hurts to get out of the pocket. I know he did in that game. It wasn't like he tried to be a statue. But there were opportunities for Jalen Hurts to get out of the pocket, buy more time, scramble. Like, when I watched Jalen Hurts, I'm watching not just a great quarterback, but a great athlete. And one of the things that makes him such an elite quarterback is his mobility. And I don't need him to break off a 50-yard run or anything like that. But the bare minimum here, just get out of the pocket. They're just collapsing. Get out of there. And there were opportunities for him to do that in the Giants game that he didn't. Now, there were opportunities for him to do it. He did do it, but there was a lot of opportunities where he could have got out there and he didn't. So I wasn't sure if there was something in his head about trying to stay in the pocket, like we went through with the Donovan McNabb era of, no, I want to be a pocket passer, that kind of thing. I don't want to be known as a running quarterback, whatever. And dude, how about a winning quarterback? That's all that matters. And I think Jalen Hurts gets that more than most. And in this game, I saw a lot of him out of the pocket. I also saw a lot of quick decisions. The second A.J. Brown touchdown was what I've been talking about all season with Jalen Hurts. Give him time at the line of scrimmage to diagnose what's in front of him. He needs that right now more than ever. If he can make that quick decision, if he can make that check at the line of scrimmage, if he can do that little signal to A.J. Brown for a touchdown, then do it. That's what I loved watching in this game, was watching him use everything he's got, from the smarts and the communication with the pre-snap read and just being on the same page as his receivers, to the mobility, and by the way, also the accuracy. He used it all yesterday. That's the Jalen Hurts I need to see more of. This was the first game where I watched this season where I went, Jalen played 3 quarters. There were the second quarter. Now, the Eagles, for the first time all season, scored a touchdown in every quarter. That's a good thing. Now, the one touchdown was obviously Jalen Hunt's pick 6. Fine. But watching Jalen Hurts in this game, there was the second quarter where they were in the midst of those 3 and outs. I think they had 4 3 and outs. They had 1 first down on the final possession of the first half, and that was it. But other than that, I think there were 3 and outs in that first half after the touchdown. So there were some struggles like we have seen. Again, bumps in the road, that's okay. What's not okay is when you compound that with 2 quarters like that. This is the first time this season that we saw the Eagles play 4 quarters of football. This is the first time that we saw Jalen Hurts play 3 dominant quarters of football. Keep that going. One more positive thing. You want to talk about predictability. Here's my issue with play calling. And people will be like, Kevin Patullo is an idiot. Play call is too predictable, whatever. When you think about that, try to think about this. Name 3 plays this season that you liked from Kevin Patullo, or I'll even say the offense in general, where it wasn't a clear check at the line of scrimmage by Jalen Hurts. Give me 3 plays this season. I mean, this is a serious question for anyone in the chat that's hated the play calling, hated the lack of creativity, or whatever. Give me 3 plays this season that didn't work, but you liked the play call. I know a lot of people, and I'm not saying Kevin Patullo has been perfect, but I want 3 plays from people that the play call has been terrible. Give me 3 plays that either Jalen Hurts missed or somebody in the offensive line missed their block, but you liked the play call. Give me 3 of those. Here's what I loved about that bomb to Devontae Smith. Number 1, I'll go to it again, communication. Number 2, that was not a predictable play. It was not a predictable play for 2 huge reasons. 1, Fred Johnson came in. They went like supermax protect, okay? Fred Johnson came in as an extra tackle. The other thing, so right away, if you're the Minnesota Vikings, you're going, all right, this is clearly going to be a run. Jalen Hurts is under center. What? Yeah, that's right. Jalen Hurts is under center. 2, now, this probably speaks to the predictability and the lack of creativity in the play calling. So ignore what I just said about the three plays. We shouldn't be doing cartwheels over shovel passes. Okay? We shouldn't be doing cartwheels over a play that, a lot of teams run and we just haven't seen from the Eagles. And we go, wow, a shovel pass. That's amazing. How did they think of that? We also shouldn't be doing cartwheels when we see a very basic, high school-esque play action pass. The most basic football 101 play action pass, max protect, quarterback under center, turns his back. Jalen Hurts never does this. Turns his back to the defense, turns his back to the line of scrimmage, puts the ball in the belly of Saquon Barkley in single back formation, and then he pulls it out, and he looks at film, bam, touchdown. We don't see, that's not something where we're like, wow, how'd they think of that? That's football 101, but we don't ever see the Eagles do it. So, all right, I see the shovel passes, nice. I shouldn't be doing cartwheels over a running back doing a wheel route, especially after we experienced the thrill that is Darren Sproles in this city. But yet, when they ran that play with Saquon Barkley, beautiful. And I shouldn't be doing cartwheels over 101 high school play action passes. But you know what? When you execute it like that and you hit it for 79 yards, I'm going to go ahead and admire it. I'll go ahead and say that you could pretty much dead on accurate say that play was not predictable. That play was not predictable. And they brought in Fred Johnson a couple of different times in this game that I thought was interesting. Did the snap count? Do I have the snap counts? Okay. Yesterday. Oh, by the way, Juergens only played 15 snaps yesterday. That's 30% of the snaps. Fred Johnson came in and played 10 snaps. So he played 20% of the snaps yesterday. How about that? Jalen Carter, with his banged up heel, played 97% of the defensive snaps. Nakobe Dean played 45%. Just while I'm over here looking at it, I'll just acknowledge that. So that's what I really love to see yesterday. That's what I love to see. How about what I love to hear? After yesterday's game, it was how can I say it?
Well, that's pretty dope.
Yeah, I would say it was pretty dope. Yesterday, let's start with Jalen Hurts. First off, the under center stuff. Where'd that come from, Jalen?
Well, I kind of spoke towards the beginning of the week when we had the time to catch up and kind of wanted to establish ourselves in the run game, establish ourselves in that fashion, and ultimately, like Coach Sirianni said, this is what we felt was the best thing to do this week, and so we're happy to walk out of here with a victory, given the formula we had, and obviously I have some things that we need to clean up and can be better on, but I won't be able to kind of dive into that until I watch the tape.
Jalen Hurts championing the cause for more under center. I first off, I love that storyline. I love that narrative. I hope every ounce of that is true. The coaches, and I always think this is important. Frank Reich did this with Nick Foles when he took over for Carson Wentz in that Super Bowl year. Their first Super Bowl. He said, where are you most comfortable? Because what we've noticed is when you're running the RPO and the field's cut in half, you're fantastic, which is so crazy to think about an immobile quarterback like Nick Foles. But that's where he was comfortable, and they had a lot of success. I don't know if the Eagles have had the conversation, just judging by yesterday's performance. I don't know if they've ever had the conversation with, hey, Jalen, do you want to be under center more? Because I know from Saquon Barkley, he has flat out said, yeah, it's better for me to run when the quarterback's under center and I got a little momentum going and then get the football as opposed to standing flat-footed next to him. He hands me the ball and I got to just go gadget legs. Like it doesn't work as well. So that's been a problem. And I would say with timing with the offensive line, it's probably better to also get Saquon Barkley's feet moving a little bit more before you give him the football. So yesterday they ran the play action. They ran under center, single back formation. It was great. Absolutely loved how all that unfolded yesterday. But again, the communication comes in here where Jalen says, yeah, we should probably do this. I think that would set up things a little bit better, especially if we try to establish the run early, which, by the way, the Eagles have tried to do in the last two games. And then all of a sudden they're like, yeah, okay, we're going to stop doing that because it's offensive line. It's so wild to me. The Eagles offensive line, I can't remember an Eagles team that was so much better at pass blocking than run blocking. It's so weird to me. And the majority of offensive line the offensive linemen that I've talked to over the years, they all prefer run blocking. Thud and done is how one O-lineman described it. Just thud and done. You're hit, you're done. But pass blocking, you're like 1, 2, 3, 4. As you get rid of it at 5. Come on! Like, it's not, it's a little bit more work. But when you talk about Cam Jurgens and Jordan Mailata coming into this game, talking about not having the right amount of focus in a game and worried about what the next guy is doing, well, when you run block, especially if you're a guard pulling to make a block on the other side of the line of scrimmage or whatever, well, then you're talking about maybe a little bit more of a strenuous assignment or knowing what you're supposed to be doing on a particular play and also holding that block to give the running back time to get to the second level, which you've seen a lot of times this season where we've seen Saquon Barkley get 2 yards and then whoever the offensive lineman is blocking, they shed that block, and then all of a sudden Saquon's down for a 3-yard gain for what could have been a 20-yard gain type of thing. So we've seen that play out throughout the season. But to hear Jalen talk about setting up essentially a running formation and then being able to run play action out of that to perfection, that's a great thing. Now, the other thing that I absolutely loved hearing in this game yesterday was Devontae Smith talking about that play and also the look he sees from his quarterback.
It was Jalen.
He was great, man. Seeing the looks, trusting us to be in our spots and things like that, and him getting us to the right checks and things.
What's it like playing with him when he's in command like that? Like you felt that?
It's fun, man. It's fun because when you can like when he really sees it and he gets this look that he sees and he's like, oh yeah. This the one right here. So it's fun, man. It's fun. We're all on the same page. The sky's the limit. We just have to continue to do that.
This look. I need more on that look. Fortunately, Devontae Smith did let us in with a little bit more information on the look Jalen
see it everywhere. Sometimes on the sideline when he's walking up and down. Sometimes in the huddle. Sometimes he'll call a play and he'll say a little sleep remark. And and he'll be like, okay, he sees it. He knows what's coming right here.
And you thought you felt that a little more from him today?
Yeah. Like we knew what was going on and things like that. Sometimes, sometimes you lose battles. In some areas we lost those one-on-one battles at times. But we're all professionals. That's part of the game. And the times when we won a one-on-one, we made it count.
They certainly made it count. By the way, Devontae Smith did say that he called the play. the play action pass for Devontae Smith. That was Devontae seeing what the defense was doing and be like, guys, but don't take my word for it. Take Saquon Barkley.
Smitty called it in the locker room. I don't know if he said that. I don't want to speak for him, but he saw something and we had it in, so we had to answer for it, and we called it at the right time. And that's the beauty of this game. They could do whatever they want, but we should always have answers. I think that's a mentality we got to continue to get back to.
What's the him call again? What was that conversation?
Smitty basically saw something, and it's like, I'm telling you, it's there. And, KP trusted. We called it and hit a big one.
Sound courtesy of NBC Sports Philadelphia. Good. Get in that locker room. You don't have a lot of time. People always think you have like a half hour in there, man. They act like you have a half hour. You don't. You have a couple minutes to try to get out what you need to say, whatever you're noticing in that first half. Get it out right there. Drive the point home further if you haven't driven it home enough on the sidelines. So the play was there, and it was beautiful. And look, A.J. Brown obviously held up in the Broncos game, I think it was. Slowed down on his route. Jalen overthrew Smitty in the Giants game. So when I saw Jalen Hurts pull that ball from Saquon Barkley and it wasn't a run play, I was like, oh, damn. Oh, somebody please be there. And then when I saw Jalen step up and let it rip, I went, oh, boy, don't stop running and be on point. That was a perfect again, I told you I hate the term in football, a perfect game. Oh, you had a perfect quarterback rating. Okay, that's cute. Your stats are adorable. But Jalen's throw was a perfect throw. AJ didn't have to, Devontae Smith didn't have to drag a little bit. He didn't have to slow down. There was a deep bomb down the field. I think it was also in the Broncos game to Devontae Smith that he reeled in. They needed to slow down a little bit for it, and he got tackled. But if Jalen leads him a little bit more, that's a touchdown. This was the perfect throw. This was right in the bread basket of Devontae Smith. Absolutely perfect. Didn't have to slow down for it. Didn't even look like he had to speed up for it. He just maintained his pace and ended up in the end zone. Little high step as well to get off the tackler. Nice play by Devontae Smith there. That was Saquon on it. Here is Jalen Hurts on how that play came up.
Yeah, he had a lot of confidence in that look. Had a lot of confidence in that, and he was chirping about it, and it ended up getting called. I'd say a great field by him, great execution from the guys up front, and then great call by KP to get to it.
That just reminded me. Saquon Barkley on that play. I'm waiting to see the all-22 later today. But on that play, Saquon didn't just, fake get the ball. He didn't just play along in the play action. He didn't just try to sell the run. He went up and he hit the line of scrimmage. Brett Toth was in at that point, as he was already for a quarter, at center. He came up, bang, hit the defensive tackle right there, and nobody got through to Jalen. So Jalen could take his time and get rid of that football. On time, perfectly, in the breadbasket of Devontae Smith. So shout out to Saquon, who I know, and rightfully so, has taken some heat on not being able to either pick up the blitz or help in the pass rush situation. This wasn't a blitz, but it was still one-on-one with Brett Toth right up the middle. Looked like Toth was losing that battle until Saquon came in, boom, and made a great play to make sure Jalen was able to get that ball off. That's something else I loved about this game. One more thing I loved about this game before I get into the chat check is what happened before the game. Adam Schefter comes out with the report that Brandon Graham could come back. You'd started to hear some rumblings about whether or not they were going to call on him. Vic Fangio, I want to say 2 weeks ago. I don't think it was this week. I think it was 2 weeks ago. Vic Fangio was asked about it. He was like, no, we haven't had any conversations about that. Hey, good poker face there. Good poker face there, Vic Fangio. Hey, who knows? Maybe it just started after that. I don't know. But here's Nakobe Dean's reaction to finding out about BJ.
I'm sorry you answered this. I was in on deck. A report came out before the game that BG's coming back. Or is considering it.
Yeah.
What would that mean to the defense?
Oh, it'll mean a lot. It'll mean a lot. No matter if he come back in any capacity, if he play every snap or no snap or two, it don't matter. The energy that BG brings is unparalleled. So that just to have a guy in the locker room like that, it'll be great. And he still can ball, for sure.
Just the first part of that again.
I'm sorry you answered this. I was in on deck. A report came out before the game that BG's coming back. Or is considering it.
Just so you know, BJ's considering coming back. Okay. Let me tell you about PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs. That's phlsportsnation.com. Let's get into the chat check, see how wonderful people are doing on this Monday morning. Happy Monday, everybody. Wayne the Pain, hello, Knucklehead. Hello, Knucklehead. Sean Kilrain, hello. If Cam Jurgens is out for a while, it's time to activate Willie Lampkin off IR and or give Drew Kendall a shot. Brett Toth cannot be the answer moving forward. I'll concur. Slide Dickerson to center. Yee. Dickerson is scary. Drew Kendall can barely stay active in a day and age where the Eagles' offensive line is struggling and the depth hasn't been there. So now I'm concerned about Drew Kendall. I would love for him to be active. You go into this game, a guy that can play center or guard. You know your center's already banged up. You know your guard's banged up, coming off an injury already. This was a game to be active, and he wasn't. Oh, this is interesting. Sean Kilrain. Quentin Mitchell, when lined up against Justin Jefferson yesterday, 20 routes, 1 catch allowed, 3 targets, 10 yards. Not too shabby. Is Toth a better center than he is at guard? I'm going to say no. Sean Gillespie, hello. Good morning. Please keep it up, Eagles. I agree. Oh, that's right. Green uniform Sunday against the Giants. Hopefully the Giants are back to normal. Unbelievable. So the Giants, if you didn't see the way the Giants game ended last night, they missed an extra point after driving for what would have been it was a go-ahead drive. I think it was 32-30. They missed the extra point. I'm going to go ahead and call him Big Balls Bo. Big Balls Bo throws 2 passes, I think it was, gets up the field, maybe 3 passes, gets it in easy field goal range, bang, Broncos beat the Giants. What's going on? Quick one, hello. April. Good morning, April. When Carson threw the tablet, I would have laughed if it got intercepted. Oh, April, that's beautiful. And Jalen Hunt comes in for the interception. Wayne the Pain, rush, push variation plays are nice. Not all are successful, but I like them. Okay. Oh, tush push. Okay, that makes more sense. In all seriousness, the Giants might be a problem despite their stupid loss. Sean Gillespie, I agree. They look like a good football team. Jalen did have a nice lid on, by the way. Hot take from Rye. What's up, Rye? Hot take. I don't want to like Sirianni, but I have to give him his flowers. This season could easily be a poop show. Fair. I love me some Smitty. Dude is a warrior and supremely talented, but his hat selection is a little off. I don't mind. I mean, the guy's from, where is he from? He's from Mississippi. He's from Mississippi, right? Yeah, I think he's from Mississippi. And he comes up with the Giants hat. That is weird, but to each their own. Victory Monday, hardcore for all. Thank you. Appreciate you. Sean, listen to Kobe Dean. Looks kind of crazy. Burmy 777. My hope is the Eagles get through the Giants healthy. Omar from Bermuda. My man! What's going on? Nice to see you. Thanks, everybody in the chat. Hey, more of me today on Fox 29. I will catch you guys later. See you.